Hi student, it's Kate here. In this video, I will provide general feedbacks for your first assignment. By now, you have already know your assignment mark and read the feedback carefully because I comment in both the assignments and in the box, in the rubric box, so that you know why you get the mark that you get. Okay, so I have done very detailed feedback so that you know where you can improve and whether you do an excellent job or not. So after marking more than 100 assignments, then I have some general comments. Firstly is I think generally you've done an excellent job. So within more than 100 students, there's only about 15 students who failed, and almost half of you get A, which is a very good results, which means that your ability to critically evaluate information and generate business plan and do the market research to implement your plan is well beyond my expectation, so which is very good. And now I have listed all of the general points. I think most of you share, most of you who do not get more than 90 share the same problems, and you might find the things that I'm going to tell you, discuss here, fall into your situation. The first thing is the vision, goals, and purpose. So I can see that most of you have got a very good business ideas. You have good reason to back up for your ideas, like you explain why you choose the product, which is very good. The only thing is, the first is the market research for the products. Normally, you will have to do the market research about the potential markets and whether you have any competitors within the markets and the trend of the markets, whether the people are liking it or not, or the trend is going up or going down. And also there's a little bit of a confusion between the vision, goals, and purpose. So if you read the textbook, you know that the purpose is the reason why the product exists. So what the needs of the customer that you feel when you offer your products, right? And what is the vision? The vision is your image in the future. So you want to be the market leaders in whatever it is. So that is the vision, right? And then the goals, normally we talk about the short term and the medium term goals. And the goals are directly linked to the budget. So when you set your goals, you need to know how the goals can be realized through developing the budgets. All right, so that is the first part. Then the second part is estimation of direct costs. So those who failed mostly cannot talk about the production process and what are included in the direct materials. How much is the quantity of direct material included in one unit of product or evolved in the whole production process? And the unit cost of the materials and how you can calculate the material cost in your product. The same thing with direct labor. And I have to draw your attention to the direct labor wage, because many of you said the wage below the minimum wage. Not sure if you're aware of that. If you work, the minimum wage is about $19 or something. You cannot go below that. So that shows me that whether you do the research on the direct labor. Okay, then the biggest part that I found many of you fail to do is estimation of overhead cost. Now I know that is the very difficult. So the first thing when in this is you need much more details in the overhead cost estimation. You need to divide it into the variable cost and the fixed cost. Okay, so the variable cost normally include utilities and some other materials that you don't want to include in the direct material part, and some indirect labors. Okay, and then the fixed overhead costs normally include something like rent, property tax, insurance, and salaries of supervisors, depreciation. But you need much more details in terms of how you estimate these figures. So I repeatedly tell you that accountant is not about throwing figures in the face of the boss, but how about where you get the figures, how you estimate figures, how reliability that you can give to your figures, and do you understand the meaning of the figures. So those who get 95, 98 are those who do a lot of research, about where the figures come from, where is the location of the factory, and how much is the rent, where they get the rent from, and how much is the cost of like office equipment, factory equipment, and then how they're gonna depreciate that, and where they get the rate of depreciation. So all this information, all the sources. Later on, I will show you one of the excellent assignments, so that you can see what a good assignment look like. Okay, and many people confuse the steps of estimating overhead costs. So normally we will estimate the total overhead cost first, and then choose an allocation base, and then calculate the quantity of the allocation base, and then use that to calculate the overhead rate. Many of you just pick an overhead rate, which is not right, because we will never have an overhead rate before we have the sum of the overhead cost, and then allocate that to the product. Another part is many people confuse between the fixed asset and overhead cost. Okay, so fixed asset are those like office equipments um, and the printers and the chairs and the tables and all the things that you use again and again, and they are not the overhead costs. Depreciation of those are the overhead costs. Okay, so you have to be very clear on what are the costs, what are the assets. Now, in terms of the master budgets, many people did really well in the last three parts. Come to the master budget, just show me the profit and loss budget, which is way too little. So if you watch problem 6.24 on Maths Week 1, where I show you all the steps in the master budgets, you know that the master budgets always start with the sales budget, where you estimate the sales and you estimate the sales price. The problem is many people don't estimate the sales price properly because they did not do the standard cost for the direct cost and the overhead cost per unit properly. Therefore, you set a price which I don't know where it comes from, whether it covers the cost or not. Okay, and then the sequence of the budget. Some people go over the places and makes me so much of headache to figure out where it is. And sometimes I find myself try to find the details and then give marks to you. Why, if you are really professional accountants, you have to present a master budget in a good order. Start from the sales budget, then the production budget, then direct material, direct labor budget if you have direct materials, or if you have direct labors, then manufacturing overhead budget, supporting departments budget, and cost of goods sold budget, cost of good ending inventory budget if you have one, and then the profit and loss statements. So I feel so ashamed for someone who I think really good, do understand a thing, but missed most of the budgets in the master budget. Okay, and the other thing is the disconnection between the goals that you set in the first part and the budget. So you know that the budget is to realize the goals. So if the goals is to afford to offer affordable price product to the low income people, then you cannot set the price too high. You have to give the reason for the price. If the price of the competitor is like this, and then how much you're gonna set the price so that it's affordable. Or if you say that you are going to offer the high quality product, then how you realize that into the selection of materials and pay of the labor. Some people say they will offer the high quality product, but they pay labor very low. So that means you are going to employ low skill labor, which cannot give you the good quality product, right? So that has to be taken into account, considered very carefully when you do the budget. Remember that the budget is the tools for you to plan and to realize the goals. Then there's other thing that you have to consider in this assignment is when you do the reflection, it is all about what you learned during this assignment. Is there anything that you did not know before and then you know after you do the assignments? Is there difficulties that you meet during the time that you do assignment, and then how you overcome that? Is all the reflection on how you grow, how much you grow in terms of the knowledge and the skills that this assignment give you. And then there's another thing that I have to draw your attention. In this assignment, I don't subtract mark. I don't penalize you for poor format and poor reference, because my purpose is not to assess that. But I have to say that your ability to reference is very, very poor. You have to improve on this. The second is some people give me a very poorly formatted report and missing tables and the reference go everywhere. You have to be very careful with these skills because that is the representation. It shows your professionalism. All right. Now I'm going to show you a very good examples of the assignment. Or maybe I will stop this here and I will give another videos on a good examples of a good assignment. Otherwise it's going to be too long. Okay, so let's watch another videos for the sample of a good assignment.